First off, rest in peace, neighborhood Nip. I ain't crip, but I'm on that neighborhood shoot. Building business, it's that black owned. If you hustle, better hustle till your pack gone. If you work, better work till your back hurt. And if you rap, make it better than your last verse. Yeah, more lyrics. Stick and move, Javante
AJ, El Presidente, Eddie Kane University. Heal gon' heal, regardless. You, Buchanan, Bethel High School, by way of 3-Man Weave, LLC.
Michelle, producer, based over here.
You can catch this wave from the Marlins to the Mariners. Doing things you can't believe. It's the 3-Man Weave.
What up?
What's happening? We are here with another episode of the 3-Man Weave podcast. This is episode 235. We got us a good one today, man. I am your co-host for this beautiful, lovely evening. AJ, you can find me at Mr_Williams21 on Instagram. Who I got with me today?
You already know who it is, your boy Hill. And Hill gonna heal regardless, baby. Let's get it. We finally got a response.
Wait. Where can they find us? Right. I know.
You're right. We catch it on major podcast platforms. 3-Man Weave, Instagram, Twitter, 3-Man Weave _ You can email us at podcast.3.man.weave@gmail.com. Say hey, y'all. Why would you put your tongue out? Just say hey.
I
don't know what he. Every time y'all pop up, some emojis pop up and stuff like that.
Every single time.
Like see, let the heart came out.
Yeah. All right.
Ain't gonna be no hearts today, cause ain't no love in the heart of the city. We got the response.
We definitely got the response that we've been waiting for.
First initial thoughts.
It was a good response. First off, the way he started off, I'm like, yo, he is no way impossible that he's about to do this to the entire song. Yeah, I'm like, he's saying some stuff, but it was so. I'm like, bro.
It was the poet. It was the poetry,
yeah,
man.
I'm like, no, we're not getting this the whole time. Then when he turned to, to switch the beat up, he turned up, got K'd out. So I'm like, okay. Me personally, I wish he would have been I would have stayed more aggressive. Just kept it aggressive the entire time. But the bars was there. It was definitely some cringe faces I was making. Definitely some gut punches that he was making. Some,
Speaking of gut punches.
Yeah.
but nah, man, I really think this was a good response as well. Because like when we talked about Drake, the drop and give me the push-ups joint,
mm-hmm.
it has some good bars in it. It was like, okay, we getting started now, and it's like I said, there was a lot of stuff in there, but it still seemed like it was kind of directed at other people. But then there were some shots at Kendrick. It didn't seem like that was just like a direct, hey, Kendrick, I'm here type
mm-hmm.
thing. And then he dropped the AI joint.
Mm-hmm.
I have my issues with it, but it was good. You know what I'm saying?
What was your issue?
So to me, it kind of plays against kind of some of the stuff that it seemed like people was talking about, where it was just like, you kind of in the pockets of other people and you were, standing next to, the Rosses, the Futures and stuff like that to get, kind of like the credibility and stuff like that. But like Ross was saying, you out there with the labels and stuff like that. And then so using the AI, like the artificial intelligence, it's a deeper, darker criminal link that I'm about to go down. I don't know if we want to do that on this episode, but to me, it just seems like if kind of like some of the rumors and rumblings of kind of like how he has certain, vested interests with, certain labels and stuff is like, so using the AI could possibly start pushing some people out, and you could just start using your own lyrics, but using someone else's voice. That's kind of nasty to me. I don't really like that.
I think we're going a little too.
I know. That's what I say. I'm going. I just take it from just like Drake's part. And yes, the AI was creative and stuff like that, especially playing off people thinking that the original disc was AI. But to kind of push the conversation forward, I do think in response to kind of what Drake did, this was a really good response because, like you said, he had the bars there. The thing that we discussed kind of privately, you said you wish he kind of would have kept that aggression, but I feel like there had to be that level of performance in there because you're not just going against a like when Pusha T, like this ain't just going to be like a back and forth. We've seen Drake try and actually turn diss tracks into songs and make things like kind of where it's like it can get that high level play, and then coming off of what you did with like that, you kind of got to perform it too. So I think that there was a good level of performance, and then having the way it started, like you said, with the Teddy Pendergrass sample, and then switching the beat up, and then at the end switching the beat up, and then kind of taking the kind of using Drake shit against them, using the Toronto freestyle, like the Toronto accent at the end, which is one of the worst accents in the world. But yeah, and I mean, I know February's very own. He said, "Ain't say nothing new. I didn't think it was a knockout." But you got to think about it. What did Drake say that was really new? I mean, I never knew Kendrick's shoe size, but I guess
I'm not gonna do that for neither one of they both sides.
I'm just saying that as like, hey, Drake fan, let's calm it down, because yes, Kendrick may not have said anything new, but I don't think Drake did. And my thing is just like, yeah, nothing was new, but it's still all about performance. We've heard people rap about pushing keys. We've heard about dudes rap about women. There's nothing that we ain't never heard before, but it's how you present it, and the presentation was good. You can't deny that.
I think the fact that, like you say, when Push Up, when he dropped that, he had a lot of people that he had to respond to, like I said, but he had some direct things that he said to Kendrick, and said it was definitely worthy for a response. The tailor-made thing, I'm not gonna go as deep as you were trying to make it. I just think it was a strategic play of trying to bait him to come outside. Like, of course, we know Kendrick moves at his own pace. He doesn't just jump out and just record a freestyle as fast as Ross did his and stuff like that. Like you say, he moves at his own pace. So to speed this thing up, I felt that Drake did a good play. It's like, all right, now, if you thought you was about to wait till May as the rumor where he's gonna drop an album and his response was gonna be on the album, which it could still be.
It could still be.
Which would be a better play now because, like I said, you gave us something. But if that was the play first, was for you to just wait till May to drop your response, it was gonna get bad for you. You know what I'm saying? Especially with the pressure that he was putting on. He was doing the antics part of it. He gave you bars both times, and he give you the theatrics with it. So it's like at some point, like, you got to come outside and do something. So the fact that he did come outside and he played it on the Drake part, like you said. I personally, this is just a heel thing.
Of course,
I want my diss tracks to be aggressive. You know what I'm saying? I want you to have some animosity. I want you to be some disdain in your voice. I want you to be mad. You know what I'm saying? That's my preference. But like I said, understand the person that you're going to get, the level of not just Drake. It's the fan bases that you're dealing with. I get the play. I get the strategy involved in what they're doing right now. But let's answer this stuff. But like, really, what is the point? It is no point, right? Because it's not about to get malicious, right? This is just bars, right?
Yeah, I think it's competition. But
how long are they going to keep doing this?
Okay, but
how long? When are we going to get tired of it?
So to kind of go back, that is like, so this whole thing is for nothing. I don't necessarily say the whole thing is for nothing, because I don't know about you, but when I compete, I actually I don't care. I don't care if you and I are friends, but when we compete, we go compete. We go, we're gonna go back and forth, and we're going to try our hardest to do whatever it takes. There may not just be like some definitive end. It may just be one of those things where it's just like, hey, dog, we didn't play 6 games of Madden, and this last game you done threw 6 picks, and it's like 3:00 in the morning. Like, all right, dog, kind of thing. Because
You mean like last time we played?
nah, that wasn't the last time we played.
That was definitely the last time we played.
That was not the last time we played. I didn't throw 6 picks the last time. We played after that.
We didn't play after that. We played in person. We haven't played. I haven't played since, actually.
All right. What?
I'm not playing until. Hey, y'all too loud. I'm not gonna play again until the new one come out. So I'm just saying.
I ain't getting the new one. I'm getting college.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm. All right, you only good at your last game, and
oh nah, damn that. We rolling this thing back up. But
But like I said, at the end of the day, like I said, I think the problem that I am having now is the over analyzing of everything at this point. Like, I get it. We all have opinions. And I'm not devaluing anybody's opinion, because like I said, we all in this day and age, everybody can have an opinion. Everybody can showcase their opinion. That is fine. My issue is like the over analyzing of it. It's like, oh my God, now it's ether. Yes, baby.
My thing is, I wish if you weren't on Twitter prior to 2013, if you weren't on Twitter prior to 2013, I don't feel like you should be able to kind of join in these rap battle debates, because now I just feel like this is like those people that's just like, regardless, it's the stands. Nobody can do, like, your person who you are a fan of can do no wrong. Instead of just like,
can I stop you?
Go ahead.
Are you having one of those?
Get off back in my day. Yeah, get off the lawn. Get off the lawn. Get off the lawn.
I can't even allow that, bro. Because I remember when Twitter first started and when albums dropped, you immediately had to listen to the album because your timeline was going to have a review.
No, I said if you weren't on Twitter prior like to 2013 in that era, like, you could be on Twitter, but if you just wasn't out there, like if you just wasn't there for that time, you sit this one out, man.
I remember sometimes, like, bro, I'm like, if I ain't listening to a Johnny, bro, I couldn't even get on social media yet, because everybody didn't have a review
like that.
So it's like,
from
so
like
worse,
20
it is
from
worse
like
now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. From like 2010 to like that 2013, like, you could get on, like, people would have opinions, but now it just seems like there's no contextual, like, evidence into it, like, and so it's just like, yo, we can't, like, I getting on social media now, sometimes, like, you gotta like sift through the bullshit, because like now it's just like, hey, some of these people are just complete, like, they will call some great shit trash just for the simple fact that they don't like the person that recorded it, so they'll call it trash. And it's like, hey, dog, like, come on now. Like, even if this ain't this ain't your speed, cool. This wasn't trash. And I understand this, like music is subjective. But this wasn't trash.
Like I said, what are you grading it on? Like I said, first off, everybody, the responses always are going to get overhyped. Every response. I had this conversation with our bro Marcus last week about second round knockout, and the Ripper is back. Yeah. I said, yeah, it's the weirdest combination, because the better song is Cannabis second round knockout, but he lost, and it's the weirdest thing ever that you can say, because once again the response just happened to be better. I mean, not better, it's just he just responded.
Yeah, well, and then also kind of one of those things that I said, it's the level of stardom as well.
Yeah, that definitely played a part. I get that,
and so that does play a part, and that's one of the things that I've constantly been saying. Drake, you can't, like, yes, you may be a bigger artist than Kendrick, but that gap ain't as big as, you know, as it may have been with some other people that you have been able to diss. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to.
But it was funny. If you go back and listen to LL's response, it was a quality response. Like, it was a quality response. He rebutted everything that was said about him. He was speaking from aggression. He he rapped in a way that people haven't heard from him in a while, bro. But like I said, if you really, like you said, you really break it down, Cannabis definitely, he definitely won.
And
I'm about to.
because sometimes what happens is then it's the name recognition. If you get quality and just be like, okay, if you get a quality steak from Ruth Chris, people gonna be like, damn, this a good ass steak. Hey, have y'all had that? Have y'all had that steak from Ruth Chris?
Mm-hmm.
But if you get an amazing steak from some mom and pop steakhouse, not as many people gonna know about it. Not as many people gonna blow it up because it's gonna be like, hey, this is the best steak that I've ever had. But it's like, I mean, all right, cool. We'll get around to it maybe. Like I ain't never heard of the place, stuff like that. So it's just like sometimes quality from someone up here holds more weight than something great from someone that's not on that level. And I'm not saying, that's Drake and Kendrick. That's more so about the second round knockout.
Yeah,
we
do want to hear with Drake straight up just Kendrick diss. Just like we just heard.
But I was about to say, but wasn't that what was the name of the second diss? That's Taylor Made. Yeah, Taylor Made. That's more what that was. But even with the AI, like
it's to me how I'm just it was a throwaway. It was a
can you do that in a time like this though? Can that?
Well, it's a quality throwaway because it was a good play. It was a good
Nah, hey, we can't not count Taylor Made. It was released.
Yeah,
I'm talking to this. I'm talking. You cannot say nah. I don't count Taylor Made
because at the end of the day, like you didn't really count charge. You ain't count charged up. That means it's empty then, right?
I have to count.
It has to be empty.
I have to count charged up because in the grand scheme of the things, that's how we played it because that's how he was able to drop back to back. You get what I'm saying? So to me, you can't just say, "Oh, charged up don't count," because that was a part of the whole back to back lore. Because it's like, hey, I've been waiting. Fuck it, drop it back to back,
which is cool. Which is cool.
Right.
And once again, but to me, I'm speaking for me. It was a throwaway. It was just, hey, are you really coming outside? What are you really doing? You know what I'm saying? It's a bait. It's bait. And in this day and age, yes, you can throw bait because people keep wanting to hear a response. Like, think about it. This ain't that was a response to something else that was already been said. Right. And that was a response to something else that was already been said. But now they treating push-ups in Euphoria as 1-1, as round one. Feel what I'm saying? That's how I'm seeing it on certain times.
I've seen people saying it's 2-1 basically because Drake had already dropped 2.
So you get it. So you got a round 1, you got 2-1. So that's how we counting it. So how we see? So think about it. You giving Kendrick 1 like that don't exist. You feel what I'm saying? Like how are we even counting it? So you can have bait and throwaway in this day and age. In this microwave society, because all they want to do is continue to here and here and here and here. Now think about it. We only talk about Takeover and Ether. Bro, Super Ugly came out right after Ether.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a good diss. It was a good diss. But we don't talk about it in the grand scheme of things because in the grand scheme of things, it was a throwaway.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I also think we don't talk about it as much because it was an okay diss coming after Ether. Pause. You get what I'm saying? Like for us to talk about it, it would have had to been on some okay.
But they had they also had other diss songs on their albums and stuff like that as well that we just don't talk about. Is that we only talk about Takeover and Ether. But they had other things. Right. You know what I'm saying? Other verses and other that's in the grand scheme of nothing is really new. It's just in that day and age, it didn't really just come out. We couldn't just
get it over and over and over. And that's another thing. I'm starting to not like how
Coda, move.
I'm starting to not like how this is like the streaming area because you can't really get things like you want them. You get what I'm saying?
I don't
Because
get what you're saying at all.
like when stuff was released back in the mixtape era, like I could get it on DatPiff, I could download it to my phone, and I could have it. Not my phone, but like my computer, and then I could burn it onto a CD. But now it's like I don't like going to YouTube because guess what? I don't have YouTube Premium. So guess what? I can't do. I can't close out none of my apps because I just want to listen to this shit. You know what I'm saying? And then when the what was it? The push up drop.
You can't minimize it on.
I ain't been able to do it on my phone.
Oh, you could only do it on video, regular video.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it's like, and then with the push-ups joint, it was like on like Discord and all those like different links, and we got uncleared like not the unfinished version, the mastered version. It's just like, hey man, just let me know when this shit done and drop it, please. But maybe it's just maybe I'm just in my get off my lawn phase because I just miss mixtapes.
At that point, like that you that's just what
I just missed the mixtapes. And I thought it was gonna be kind of cool like that because, like, all right, cool. You got Who Kid on your disc. Like,
think about what you just described. You just literally described the same thing.
I know.
You really, I'd rather put it on a mixtape, burn it, take it, put it on a CD, and go instead of going to you. You didn't want to go to the link.
No, but what I'm saying is,
you want to play it on YouTube. Like, what?
No, but the thing is, it's inconvenient because I can't like do anything else on my phone. Like once I downloaded it, I can have it and hit play and listen whenever I want it, dog. Like my iPad Nano was stacked.
I get it.
I'm about to go listen to Dedication 2 when we get off, man.
I feel you, man. We had a draft this weekend, man, and boy. And boy, before we really get into who our winners and losers, our superlatives, that's what we're really gonna call it. Boy, Lion season, right?
Lion season.
Did they lie or was they lied to? That they spread it the lie. Because boy, the trades that we did not get.
Oh, absolutely. Everybody was about to trade up into the top 5, dog.
Bruh, the chalk of what we would get. That it made me realize
this might be the most chalk draft we've had in quite some time.
I want to go back and do our mock draft over. Because if that was the case, we could have had a 90% mock draft if we were gonna go like that, bro.
Yeah, because I'm thinking like, all right, people gonna move, people gonna do this. Nope.
And I think that fact, I don't think that aspect, I don't think we were lied to. I think the fact that it was like the asking price just became a little too high. It was like, okay, we don't really care about this Jimmy Johnson trade chart. We ain't going by that. Oh, y'all want this quarterback?
But to think about it, man, it's always been a QB tax.
Look it up.
It's all like when it comes to trade ups, there's always been like a QB tax on that Jimmy Johnson trade chart, if you ask me. So it's like when you move up and teams know that you're going to try and move up for a quarterback, they'd be like, oh, well, if you want him, come get him. Add a little bit of something on top of that. You feel what I'm saying?
But they was adding a lot of something. Like it was crazy. Like, and
because it was also talent in the top 10 too.
Yeah, but the fact that we can get into some of the, some of them, but I was very interested in Minnesota.
Yeah,
I wanted to see what they was going to do because this is the template of basically my team has to follow if they want to move on from the quarterback. Now, revisionist history.
Right.
Kurt got injured. They had it out. They could have tanked. Justin Jefferson was injured. They could have easily organically tanked, and nobody would have batted an eye. Yeah. They decided to continue to compete. They almost made the playoffs. They even had Josh Dobbs. People thinking Josh Dobbs was good. Like this, how much they was actually competing. So they kept messing up their draft spot. So the fact they messed up their draft spot so much that they was interested in trading up. I'm like, y'all really just played this totally wrong. So for them for them to get JJ McCarthy without a significant trade up, I can respect it. Now, at the end of the day, they still ended up trading because it's one of those things like, all right, bro, I got $100. I'm going to the bar. I plan on spending $100. And if you one of your favorite bartenders there, she hold you down with 2 drinks, you were like, oh, she gave me 2 drinks for free. I'm still gonna spend this $100.
I'm still gonna spend it. It's mine. I'm spending. I'm right round up getting it. So yeah,
that's how that ended up looking for me.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with the Vikings because, like, to me, like you said, you got to boost them up for being able to get their guy and not having to move because they did make that trade to get that second first round pick and using that as an attempt to move up, and it didn't work. So I'm like, hey, that's that is a really good move on their behalf. I want to go ahead and
let's get into it.
I'm gonna just go ahead and go to my Houston, my pick as the Houston Texans. Like on what they already have and what they did last season to kind of surprise people, they did a lot to kind of just like bolster a lot of spots. It wasn't really a whole bunch of flashy stuff, but if you just look at it, in totality, it's like, dang, all right. Like, not having the first round pick, getting Kamari Lassiter and Blake Fisher in the second, I like that.
How you feel about Kamari Lassiter though? Like,
I understand that he has some shortcomings, but I think that in that defense with DeMeco Ryans, I don't feel like he has to be necessarily the most athletic to really excel, especially when you got Jalen Petrie on the back end behind you. You get what I'm saying? And I think that's some of the things that people forget also is when you have kind of like those safeties behind you to protect you. You don't necessarily have to be the most athletic guy because now you could trust that you have good help over the top. It's kind of just like with the Legion of Boom, knowing that you got Earl Thomas over top. Yeah. Richard Sherman wasn't the most athletic. He was one of the original taller lankier corners. But they played that zone scheme and allowed him to kind of, take those chances on the underneath stuff because guess what? I know Earl know what he's supposed to be doing. And when the ball, goes over top, he's going to be there to make a play. And so I think that's kind of what they could do with Jalen Petrie. And I was a big fan of Blake Fisher. And then, one of my favorite picks is actually getting Ladarius Henderson in the 7th. Like, I was like, oh, okay. They already got, some like really great bookends. So you bring in Blake Fisher to kind of be that, that, okay, he can learn, be a swing tackle. You can never have too many good tackles. So if he hit, that's just another plus. And then you got, Ladarius Henderson, who I think can be a starter. And then, you saw what Dalton Schultz did in that offense. And it's almost like, all right, we bring in Cade Stover, who was like a diet Dalton Schultz in a sense. So I really like what they did to kind of replenish what, some of the stuff that they already had going for them and trying to continue that window.
Because they already do have the athletic type. I think they got Bourbon Jordan as well anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah, what they did, like I said, based off the offseason, what they did, add that to the draft. That's going to be my thing when it comes to when we recap our team. We're doing our favorites, right?
Yeah.
One of my favorites, I'm going to go ahead and get to it because I know you won't go say it. I'm going to start off with the Steelers, man. The Steelers, bro, they almost got every player that I wanted off for my team. So I know it had to be a personal favorite for me. Get it Furtado off the rip, him falling to 20, him being able to play offensive tackle and guard, potentially that give him the versatility to figure that out right then and there. To get a Roman Wilson. Like you say, we know how they draft wide receivers, and you know how he was underutilized in that offense, for sure. And he was one of my favorites anyway. Getting Peyton Wilson, I know he has a medical history, but like I said, you get him in the third to go alongside of Patrick Queen, if he's healthy, man, come on now. I think I'm missing somebody. I know they got Mason McCormick that just looked like an offensive lineman. Like, so they just Zach Frazier. Zach Frazier as well. Give them against Zach Frazier. So that knowing that they needed a center, knowing that they also needed to show up the offensive line, getting in a wide receiver, they actually hit everything that they needed to. Like you know how I like to roadmap my draft.
Right.
Like it seemed like they actually did roadmap it, but like the needs and the way it fell was just picture perfect.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I got another one, but go
No,
ahead.
go ahead.
The Packers, bro. Like, come on now.
Goody.
Like they went out there. First off, they got one of my favorite tackles, get Jordan Morgan. Like you said, I know he got the short arms or whatever, but in that zone scheme,
Yeah.
bro, you probably going to the Pro Bowl, man. Getting Marshawn Lloyd. I forgot they got Edgerrin Cooper too, right?
Adrian Cooper and Javon Bullard.
Bro, first off, getting Edgerrin Cooper to go alongside with Quay Walker, like, come on, bro. Then get Javon Bullard when they get to go alongside with Xavier McKinney with the safeties that they lost. Come on, bro. Like, it's like, bro, like, what are they already got better again in the offseason. They already was overachieved technically in the regular season, bro. And then to have a slam dunk draft like on paper, sky's the limit, bro.
Yeah, I definitely think that they held it down. They built a lot of depth in some places that they really needed it, and it's almost like they kind of did what they did for the wide receiver room the previous year, where they were just like, "Hey, we just gonna keep drafting dudes. Somebody gonna hit, and if multiple hit, guess what?
We got
fucking win." And
Yep.
that's kind of what they did in that safety room. Like, hey, look, we gonna just take some shots. We gonna see who hit and who don't. We gonna take some shots at linebacker. We gonna see who hit and who don't. It's just like now they really shoring up that defense. The only thing that I can say is, I know they went and got Jordan Morgan, and they got what's the guy from Duke name? Jacob Monk. They got Jacob Monk.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like with Bakhtiari being, like out and stuff like that. I just don't know if they may have needed to kind of do a little bit more on the offensive line. That's just me. But you can't ask for much more from what they did though. I really like their draft.
But the thing about it is like, did you think that they had a weakness at the offensive line last year?
I mean,
the answer is technically yes, but nobody would know it outside of Green Bay. Nobody would know that they had they dealt with a lot of injuries, but when you have an elite play caller, a top tier play caller, it can mitigate your offensive line. Like I know, bro. I'm sorry. And trust me, I've been there. But if you go look at the 49ers, bro, they have Trent Williams and the Temptations. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's it. That offensive line is nasty, but you would never know because they have an elite play caller. So the fact that they did on paper, because it's a draft, they did throw darts at it, try to improve. It's gonna make it a strength because they did some other they made some other moves too. Like, so I like
and yeah, so I'm gonna go to another team that I like, and I'm glad Miss King is here because I like the Colts draft, man. I like the Colts draft. Like, note the defensive slide on players fell right to them where it was like, hey, we got to take Latu, dog. Like, he's staring you in the face. It's like value meets need in a sense. And now you can add him to that offensive line. He's gonna he's gonna come in, and you don't really, if the projections are correct, you don't have to do a whole lot of waiting and allow for him to kind of grow. He could come in and at least be a high floor already as a pass rusher and make an impact right now. He may not come in and be one of those, game records, but if he comes in and gives you, a 5, 6, 7 sack season, I would not be surprised because he's just gonna, he has that high floor and that ability. And then to me, one of the receivers that a lot of people thought might go in the first round, A.D. Mitchell.
Yes.
You know, we saw his teammate Xavier Worthy go in the first round. I thought AD Mitchell should have been the first Texas receiver taken, not Xavier Worthy, because to me, you know, just kind of what he brings to the table as, you know, or as a full spectrum wide receiver, I feel like AD Mitchell could come in and be your X. But now, guess what? He don't really got to. And it's like this is how Hill likes to build his wide receiver room. You got Michael Pittman to do everything from the intermediate to the possession and be that true X. You know, you have Josh Downs to do the things over the middle. You have AD Mitchell to kind of be that vertical threat, the field stretcher, to take the top off the defense. But he can be interchangeable because he can do some of the things that Michael Pittman can do. He can do some of those things that Josh Downs can do. And so now you have an extremely versatile wide receiver room and Anthony Richardson coming back. And then you did things on the offensive line to help because, you know, I was like Tanner Bornolini, that was one of my sleepers in the draft. And I felt like, you know, he was on my board. And so for them to get him in the fourth, I think that was a really good pickup along with, you know, Matt Goncalves. So it's just like, man, they attack needs. And then it seemed like they also had some value picks in there as well. And then to add depth, you got Anthony Gould. I'm like, okay, now you add depth to your wide receiver room. Alec Pierce has been kind of a disappointment. So to me, now he kind of gets pushed down the depth chart. He might be, you know, he might be gone soon. But then you bring in somebody like Anthony Gould that just raises the floor of that room already.
And bare minimum with the new kickoff rule again, they're bringing that back. He could just be a kickoff specialist. You're kicking punt returner. So
yeah, and so just you good. And so it's just like, man, just kind of just some of that stuff that they did just in the first 5 picks that they had, just like, damn, like what more could you ask for? I'm like, that's with Anthony Richardson coming back, if they could keep him healthy. I know the AFC South has been kind of, you know, a joke lately. It got some. It could have some tough games now this year between, you know, you got the Colts, you got the Texans. We'll see about the Jags. You know, they did some things like, you know, so they still got Trevor Lawrence. So we'll see. And, you know, then there's the Titans.
What did I tell you?
Yeah, that's it. All right, man. Let's get to the second category we got going on, man. Your head scratcher pick. Like, bro, what are they doing?
Brock Bowers, man, like to the Raiders. Like to me, I thought Brock Bowers was, even if he was going to go, you know, in one of those top 15 picks, I thought Brock Bowers might have been better off served to one of those candidates, that one of those teams that already had a quarterback in place. And, you know, he could actually be utilized in a scheme that, you know, will, you know, utilize his skill set best as a slot receiver, kind of, you know, that hybrid tight end. But going to a team with Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell, I think it's Amir White as your lead running back. They got, you know, plenty of issues, you know, kind of on the back end of that defense. The offensive line can use a fusion of talent because, like you said, the San Francisco 49ers is Trent Williams and the Temptations. I would say the Raiders offensive line is even worse because who is it? Colt Miller and the Pips.
Yeah,
it's bad. So to take Brock Bowers just seemed like that would be a team like a luxury pick. Like that's why a lot of people were saying like the Bengals should take Brock Bowers because, like, yo, you just got a quarterback coming off of injury, add that infusion of talent. Or, you know, the Los Angeles Chargers, you got the quarterback in place, you know, you got some things in place, get that infusion of that high floor talent. For the Raiders to do it, I'm just like, I don't know. Like, and then you have Michael Mayer. Like, is that really what you needed?
I had a question though. Aren't you part of the best player available community?
I am a part of the best player available, but how many times? No. How many times? No, because you're conflating my argument.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
No, I'm not. So, based off their logic, if he was the best player available on their board and they were wiped out at quarterback in the moment, what is the problem?
I never said take a quarterback. Well,
No,
maybe
no,
okay.
no, no.
Well, maybe
We're talking about the Raiders. They
okay.
were wiped
Okay.
out at they
So
were
let me
wiped out
rephrase
at
it. So
quarterback.
let me rephrase it. Well, maybe I didn't think Brock Bowers was the best player on the board. So I'm looking at it through my lenses, and that's why it's my head scratcher.
All
Maybe
right.
they didn't, and so they just said, "All right, we'll figure this stuff out later." But at least we got Brock Bowers,
All right.
I guess.
Because I have not a rebuttal to that. I have a thing that I want to say about that in regards to, yeah. So it is. I didn't want to make it seem like it was a shot, so I'm gonna wait when we get to our teams.
No, go ahead and say it. I ain't taking it
Because
personal.
no, because it's not personal,
All right, so just say it. I don't care if it's a shot.
bro.
It's not one of them.
I'm sick of I'm sick of everybody talking about their board. Like I get it, and I appreciate everybody that does the work. Like if when you put in the work, I'm not minimizing putting in the work, but we all know everybody's team's draft board is different.
Right.
So, like I said, unless they pick somebody that should have been an undrafted free agent, you know what I'm saying, in the second round or something like that, like let's sometimes we got to fall back a little bit. Like, you know what I'm saying, I get it. Like every recap I keep hearing, oh man, he was number 30 on my board. They picked him at 17. I would have waited. Or not. I'm like, all right, bro, we getting too cute. Like we get it. We have to understand that everybody's board is different. Like so that's when I hear a recap, I'm like, bro, stop saying that. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
and
You know what I'm saying? That's why I said on their board when I
right,
said
and
well,
I wholeheartedly get what you're saying, and you know, I'm just confused again because I understand taking the best talent available, and if you feel like Brock Bowers is the best talent, cool. But I also feel like you just took Michael Mayer. I don't make like you have a new coaching staff, but Luke Getsy. I mean, there were other options for you to do. There were other things for you to do in this offense because you need tons of help. And we understand that this was an extremely talented offensive line draft, and you need help there. And again, you know, like I said, we don't know their board, but who knows? I guess maybe you know if you feel like he's a top 10, you know, a top 2 talent and you can get him, then you got to go get him. But like I'm not killing the Raiders. That was just a head scratcher to me because you already got Michael Mayer in the fold. Just like, hey, drafting Michael Penix is a head scratcher, but again, it's like you viewed him as the number 2 quarterback. So if you feel like you're not going to be in this chance, if you don't have this opportunity to go get him, go get him. I'm not going to kill him, but I am confused on why you would do it right now.
The only reason that they're not on the list is because everybody been talking about it
Has
all
already killed him.
weekend.
Yeah, has
So
already
it's
killed him.
like, all right, we get it. They gave us their explanation. Hey, do you got to buy? I'm a logic guy. Once I hear logic,
All right, cool.
Hey, that is what it is. Do I have to agree with it? No, but once I hear the logic, it is what it is. My head scratcher is Ricky Perso. The player is amazing. One of my favorites in the draft, actually, like I said. And based off the logic of what this team need or how they got exposed on how to attack them, he is what this team needs.
Yeah.
But it was a luxury pick for a team that I get it. You was in the Super Bowl. Let's not act like this was the perfect roster. Like you had holes in this roster. You know what I'm saying? Like Dre Greenlaw probably won't play this year. I'm not advocating for you to draft a linebacker in the first round. I'm not advocating for that. But once again, the offensive line is trash.
Yep.
You know, outside of Trent, you could have made some moves right there. Like I said, getting the wide receiver. And now I'm like, okay, cool. You drafted a wide receiver, a sure route runner that can get separation, somebody that can do some things that a Brandon Ayuk can do. So I'm thinking that okay, we're going to see a trade here. Then we did not see a trade. the whole weekend. So now what are we doing here? Because now you already have to get Debo the ball. You got to get CMC the ball. You got to get Kittle the ball. You got to get Brandon Ayuk the ball. You brought back Jawan Jennings. You love. He's a fan favorite when it comes to them. I done named 5 people before I got to your first round pick. You know what I'm saying? It's so much. Hey, I get it. You the mad genius. You know your offense is this and that. You can get all your playmakers the ball, but you can't, bro. At some point, bro, it gets ridiculous. Like we've seen, like this year, we've seen games with George Kittle basically was just blocking.
Yeah.
We've seen games with Debo wasn't involved. It's games that Brandon Ayuk, it's games that they can't get everybody involved. So adding another wide receiver in a deep wide receiver class that you couldn't wait, and you end up getting another wide receiver later on in this draft.
Yeah,
with the corners on the board.
Yeah, and I mean, I biased. They did grab Renardo Green in the second, so there's that. So I do think he's going to be a really good corner. And they drafted one of the interior offensive linemen that I like, Dominique Pooney.
Yes,
but
I like him too.
But to me, it's just like I really feel like, again, I felt like that's a glaring need. If you have that offense, if you just get one other competent body on that offensive line, who knows where that actually elevates that offensive line when you have Trent Williams, because sometimes you just need to replace the weakest link. And I don't know if they have been able to address that immediately. And I get it. Brandon Ayuk or whatchamacallit might get traded, but if they get traded, to me, again, it's very similar to what I said about the Bengals. If you're going to trade them, you need to trade them early so you can have things mapped out. You get that money back, you can start maneuvering that money around and use that money to kind of, bolster things in free agency or whatever the case may be. And then, if you get any draft picks, you be able to use them. Now it's just like, hey, you kind of just out there. If you end up trading Brandon Ayuk, prior to the season, are you getting a player back for him, or are you getting a future pick? Because who knows what you got to do, in these coming times.
I got another head scratcher. This wasn't on the list, but this is one of your favorite players in the draft. Johnny Newton going to the Commanders. Once again, it's similar to Ricky Pearsall. Bro, you got Jonathan Allen and Darren Payne. That's already paid. Both of them are paid. Like, what are we doing here? Like, it's so much. Like, how much rotating are you really gonna do? So, okay, cool. You're planning on rotating, so that means you're not going to get the maximum out of somebody. So, let's say you're not gonna get the maximum out of the dudes that you already paid, or you're not gonna get the maximum out of a second round draft pick. Like, it's really not making really that much sense to me, unless you plan on playing way more 5-2, 5-man front. Then cool, which he's shown that's in his bag. But
I was gonna say it might be possible, and it could be possible, because I mean you got Dorrance Armstrong there
and Dante Fowler
and Dante Fowler, but I mean they don't really have much in the like on the edge. So who knows? You might be able to run out there kind of heavy. Who knows? And what they're gonna do, what Dan Quinn might try and cook up. But like, you got to kind of think about this in the sense of what you just said about Brock Bowers. Talent fell to you. Get the talent and figure it out, I guess. There were people on the board that may be able to provide more immediate help, but hey, do what you gotta do.
Okay, cool. Like I said, I would not be surprised if somebody's on the move.
Yeah, of course. I think that is very
the play anyway.
Yeah, I think that might be the play anyway.
So we'll see. All right, man. So a draft that you was just like, you know what? I like what y'all doing, man. Like, it ain't not necessarily got to be your favorite. It ain't even got to be the best. It's just like, you know what? I see y'all playing. I like what y'all doing, man.
Man, it's the Cleveland Browns. Like they, we all know, kind of what everything that they gave up to get Deshaun Watson. They still didn't have a first round pick in this draft, but to me, what they kept a lot of dudes, close to home, but they were good players and they make sense. Like to get Michael Hall Jr. in the second round, we all like Michael Hall. I like Michael Hall. I think
Correct.
he's going to be able to, provide, an infusion of talent on that already, really good defensive line that they have. And then to come back in the third round, to get Zach Zinter. I was watching Zach Zinter all season, and I'm like, hey, this dude is going to be a dog. And then he suffered that major leg injury, and it kind of threw a wrench in the plans. But they don't have to start him immediately. So to let him get fully healthy, and who knows what he can be when he gets healthy, that's going to be like a really big infusion of talent. And then getting Jamari Thrash, who's a really good deep ball winner, to add him into that offense where you already got Amari Cooper, who's going to be able to kind of run those intermediate routes and do those things. And Jamari Thrash can win deep and stretch the defense. Again, I like when you are able to get guys who move on different levels, and then you get Nathaniel Watson. That's a really solid linebacker I like. But to me, the sleeper pick of their draft is Jawan Briggs, another guy that they kept close to home, defensive tackle out of Cincinnati. I was hoping we got him late because I think because of the school he went to, I think he's going to be able to come in and actually be a major contributor. So now you got Michael Hall, Jawan Briggs as rookies who basically could be long term, stalwarts on that defensive line next to Myles Garrett. I think with what they had and what they've kind of acquired, I think three of their picks they got from other teams now. So it's like, so to kind of just do what you did and make it work, that's a solid little haul. Like, I'm not saying it's the greatest draft, but you made it shape and you maximized your lottery tickets. I like that.
Man, I do. I was liking what they were doing too. I was like, some of this stuff is just making sense. Come in.
No crying.
Yeah. So the Patriots.
Yes.
Yo, it's like, okay, when they got Drake May, okay, we were sitting there like, okay, you got Drake May, he ain't really got nothing to really, deal with. It's like you might be setting him up for failure. Even I don't care how you felt about him, you know what I'm saying? Even if you thought he was gonna be good, even if you thought he was gonna be trash, it's like, okay, this situation really is not ideal regardless. For them to go out in the second round and get Jalen Polk, I'm like, okay, I'm loving the Drake May pick immediately. Yep. You get that, so you get him a wide receiver to hold it down, and it's the inverse of Xavier Worthy and AD Mitchell. Okay, cool. We know Rome Medusa. Okay. We know Rome Medusa is the one, but like I say, Polk is one of them ones as well. Like I said, but Xavier Worthy was the number 2 to AD. That's fine. He could possibly blossom and all that shit, but like you said, to get a Polk that could go alongside with Drake May is that's ideal. That's what you want to do. Caden Wallace, you know what I'm saying? It might have been a reach at that point, you know what I'm saying? But hey, you got to go get somebody to this offensive line. They brought back, I forgot the dude that they brought back, but they brought back somebody that was
Michael Onwenu.
That could have took some more money elsewhere that he decided to stay. So you hold that down with your, like you say, with your line. Like I said, he could be a reach, but hey, at that point in the draft, when a lot of the top, the upper echelon was good, you starting to get kind of dry at that point. So you got to go get somebody before the well runs out. So I'm not even mad at that aspect. You get Lyndon Robinson, another dart throw and the offensive line. So hey, we're gonna keep trying, like you said. Hey, we're gonna keep trying at this point.
Exactly.
And we figure this out. Get Javon Baker as well, man. So
boy, I have my eyes on Javon Baker. I'm like, dog, please. Like if when we drafted Jermaine Burton, I wouldn't have been mad if we drafted Javon Baker. That's how good I think Javon Baker is.
Mhm. Then you get a Joe Milton. If he can show you anything because he has a legit arm. We don't know where it's going, but the arm strength is legitimate. So if you can get him to work with and be a serviceable backup, now you got one for 4 years. Then
Yep.
you get a Jaheim Bell. You know him very well from Florida State. You know, saying a versatile, not your ideal X line, Y line tight end,
That
but
H
he
that kind of H back that H back role, just kind of do it all. Like
get
what
him in space.
what we was talking about during the season. Please don't let him go to San Francisco. Kind of players, like because he
Exactly. With
just get him the
tight end.
ball and just get him the ball and he gonna run after the catch type dude. And you know that's one of the things that I enjoy what they did. And you know everyone was talking about the receiving options that were in New England.
Yeah.
You infuse that receiver room with athleticism and young talent, and you don't have to start Drake May right away.
Yeah. You know you
Like
don't. You got Brissett for a reason.
you brought in Brissett for a reason. Don't start Drake May. Let him go in, see what this offensive line looks like. So
Mhm.
that way, I hate to say it, but hey, Jacoby, you are a veteran. You go you understand what it is. So you gonna take the lumps for Drake May and allow him to kind of watch the film and break things down and kind of allow the game to slow up for him. And then when it's time, ease him in, whether it's this year or next year, and then you can kind of just see okay where it goes from there. And then because you still like their defense, they still have some pieces on defense. This could be an okay team, and you can kind of see where they go and where they go from there. You should be able to ease Drake May in. And so I think we said that they didn't have the infrastructure for a rookie quarterback, but damn it if they didn't do their best for this draft to try and actually put him in the best position possible. So I respect everything that they did in the draft.
That's why I liked it, man. I'm like, you know what? I like what y'all doing at first because once they got Drake, man, I'm like, you know what? I ain't really that high. And then, like I said, once they got Pope, I'm like, oh, hey, they cooking with,
You're doing a little something.
I'm
You're
good with
making
the
some
rest
shit
of it.
shake.
Now I know some other people that had great drafts. Like you said, we already touched on the people that we thought about. Like you said, we can't forget about the Lions. Like you said, the things that they done. But you know, people did a lot. People had some good drafts. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people are feeling themselves at the draft. But that's the reason why we don't do grades because what's the point?
Yeah,
Because we
everybody
don't got
happy. It's a
got it. Yeah,
a
everybody.
little bit of post draft clarity.
Yeah, that's all. But like you say, once they actually get on the field, you actually see what they really got.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your team, man. How you feel about what your team did?
I like I think that this is one of those drafts where it's like ain't nothing sexy about it. You don't get the shiny new toy in Jamar Chase, or you don't get the new quarterback in Joe Burrow. But I think that this is one of those window extending drafts where it's like you bring in Amarius Mims at your right tackle. He has the upside to be one of the best tackles that came out in this draft in a very deep draft class. And then followed up second round. I wanted Johnny Newton, but you bring in Chris Jenkins, who is a very, very solid, productive, high motor guy. I'm like, hey, cool. I'm happy with it. And then the shocker for me, third round, you bring in Jermaine Burton. And to me, Jermaine Burton is one of those players where it's like, he may have not actually truly been able to show everything that he was, able to do at Alabama because they had Jalen Milroe at quarterback, and he wasn't the best quarterback. This year he was more of a mobile guy and stuff like that. But you watch what Drake Jermaine Burton is able to do, dog. Like he could do everything from every single level, the slot, the outside. And so again, it keeps up that flexibility. And I think even if we play him in the slot some, he's able to do a little bit more from the slot than Tyler Boyd was because he's more athletic than Tyler Boyd. He got a little bit more speed than Tyler Boyd, but he still is, kind of like, a good 6 foot solid receiver. So I think we did good there, and then we took some really good dart throws at tight end. That's one of the things that I've always been saying. Don't get Brock Bowers in the first. Don't get stuff go get just one of the athletic freaks who tested out of the roof, who have the athleticism, and teach him the rest. Because that's kind of what happened. George Kittle, he wasn't no first round pick, but he was just athletic. He could move. He was, he had, the ability, the agility, and all that stuff to work in space. He was didn't have the production, but you bring him in, you get him in space, you develop him, and he does what he does. Travis Kelce, the same thing. He wasn't no just like very high draft pick. He was athletic. He could move. He had the agility, the good agility scores and stuff like that. And you come in and you just teach him the way. Rob Gronkowski, hey, he wasn't like the Brock Bowers, the greatest tight end prospect ever, but he was big, he was strong, he was fast, and he was a matchup nightmare. And you bring him in, let him do the work. So to me, don't always just go for the shiny new toy. So I think they did good there. And I think we didn't address the interior offensive line like I wanted us to, but our 7th round pick I think actually could be a future starter.
So but that's the thing when you finish.
Yeah.
That's the thing about my draft, my team draft, and it's more so it's like, okay, this is where this is their time to shine. They're known to draft very well. They have a routine of a reputation to draft very well. I really can't get once the dust settled, I really couldn't get too hyped because it was like, well, you didn't do anything in free agency.
Right.
So it's like when I'm looking at other teams, like I'm looking at the Lions, I'm like, okay, they was active in free agency and then they have a knockout draft. You looking at the Steelers, they was active in free agency and then they have an A1 draft. The Packers as well. It's like, even the Eagles was active in free agency and then they had a good draft. It's like your draft is like the icing on the cake. Like we're going in there with that is the foundation. That's the base of the cake. Like, and it was like, okay, cool. You go out there, you get a trade back. And for me, honestly, I don't care what it was. The trade back was the most important thing of the entire draft because we gave up the 4th round pick and for Trey Lance. And it was like, okay, cool. The fact that we made it was a top 100 pick. It was a third round pick early in the 3rd round was even better. So I didn't care who we traded away from at that point. Get into Tyler Guyton, cool, high upside, athletic. He could do some things. Of course, I'm not expecting him to be Tyron Smith.
Right.
He could do some things because he has the athleticism that Tyron doesn't have at this point of his career. So it could be some things that we can expand on in the run game that we could not do with Tyron. All Tyron could do last year was just pass protect. We couldn't do anything more so movement wise in the run game with him based off the injury history that he had. That's not a knock on Tyron. I wanted Tyron back. I'm just speaking on the reality of what it is. He was a statue, but he was a good statue that could protect that blind side. That's what his job was. Like I said, you get a high athletic guy, like I said, things to do. That you allow Tyler Smith to stay at guard. You know what I'm saying? So we're not playing musical chairs at the offensive line. You go in the 2nd round, you get Marshawn Nealon. Me, my draft philosophy. I like to roadmap my mind. So I'm also looking for. I'm like, hey, look, go ahead and get a linebacker. Jonathan Brooks was out the way, thank God. So I'm like, cool, go ahead, some thing. But those you get a Marshawn Nealon, hey, defensive end was a sneaky need. Like you say, we lost Dorrance Armstrong, we lost Dante Fowler. Hey, we don't know what Sam Williams is really going to do, and we do know this is his last year with DeMarcus Lawrence. Hey, he kind of remind you of LaMarcus Lawrence of peripheral, more athletic. So it's like, okay, cool. You know what? Once the dust settled, I'm like, you know what? I understand this pick. 3rd round.
I had to talk you off the ledge.
Hey, that's what we here for. That's exactly what we here for. I did the same thing with you with Jermaine Burton.
Yeah.
So hey, that's what we here for. 3rd round to get a Cooper BB. So now you pair the Cooper BB with Tyler Guyton. It make you feel way better from missing out on a Graham Barton.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you know what? And Cooper
I saw that pick. I was like, damn.
Cooper BB, I was ready to get him in the 2nd and move Tyler Smith to left tackle. That's how I felt about him. So to get him and to place him in center, projected right now, hey, I'm good. So it's like, now it's the toughness aspect. Okay, now we go to the third round. Got to turn on the line, the other linebacker from me from Notre Dame.
Right.
Wow, I can't say his name. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Mati Falafu, whatever.
The disrespect. The disrespect. Like
Hey, it was some names in this draft. God, I got some names on you. Hey, but
Charlotte McGain.
for him, like I said, we seen what happened to our linebacker core last year. We know we need linebacker depth. Like I said, I do understand we got Overshown coming back. We did sign Eric Kendricks in free agency, the only free agency that we got. That allows us to move Damone Clark to his rightful position. Like I said, so he doesn't have to come in and actually start for us. Like I said, he can actually
Right.
learn from Eric Kendricks and be the heir apparent to him, or he actually come out there and win the job. Hey, competition is a good thing. So I'm not even mad
Exactly.
at that. Now at that point, I personally would have preferred a running back at that spot. But for them to come out and say, hey, we was going to our board, we was going by our board, and we didn't want to jump tags on our board. So I'm like, okay, cool. If that's the philosophy that's y'all are going to use, then I cannot be mad with it. And then they continue that through the rest of the draft. They didn't even just try to like, you know what, we gotta get a running back to satisfy everybody. Like, nope, we're gonna go by our board. Okay, cool. See, they went and got a um cornerback from Wake Forest. Tough guy, scrappy guy. Like I said, Jordan Lewis is on another 1 year deal. Could possibly take it careful. We ain't bringing back Stephon Gilmore, so who knows? That was another sneaky need for it. Trayvon Diggs coming off of ACL injury.
Yeah.
So hey, that's his key. We got another who went after that?
It was you talk about.
We got a lineman. We got a lineman.
Oh, you
We
got
another
Flournoy, Ryan Flournoy,
fake look great
wide
value
receiver.
Diggs.
Yeah,
That's
wide
what he
receiver
said.
out of
That's what he
South
called
Georgia.
himself. So we end up getting a wide receiver, athletic. He brings the element that we don't have in this wide receiver room at this point. Like you say, size and got the speed combination. Like you say, so he's going to put some pressure on a Jalen Tolbert, to show up to do something.
Competition.
Competition is a good thing. We got another defensive tackle that hey, I talked to my guy from Locked On Cowboys. He like, hey, look, he just eat up blocks. That's all I need you to do. That's all I need you to do. Especially if we're gonna run a lot of these double A gap blitzes with Micah and Eric Kendrick. I need you to eat some blocks, baby. So at the end of the day, the good draft. Solid draft. Good draft. But I couldn't be too excited because once again, it's like you just negated, you just
Free
negligent
agency.
on free agency. It's like, come on, bro. Like that's what realities had to set in. Like, okay, don't let them off the hook from what they just did. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, of course. Well, let's go from the good
Oh man,
to the bad.
we gonna start off with my team first.
I mean, because we know what the ugly is.
This not ugly. It's okay. We start off with mine. Hey, listen, man.
You want to do oppression Olympics right now?
No. We good.
Oh, okay.
Start off with the Lakers, man. I think we missed the episode. I think we missed a week where we what happened was we talked before the play-in. We talked before the play-in, and then we didn't get to talk after the play-in. So it was a lot of talks out there. A lot of the major networks were saying, "Oh, the Lakers should avoid the Nuggets. They can beat the Thunder, yada yada yada." And I was of the mindset of, yeah, that sounds good in theory. The Lakers did not have the luxury to just purposely just lose a game in the play-in and then hope that they can just win the game against
because you gotta win that. You gotta win that
against the Kings that I don't think we beat them all year.
Right.
So just the fact that you could just say that, oh, they were just winning the play and we could just flip a switch. If that was the case, they would have flipped the switch and we got the 6th seed. So that's just a bad logic in there. Well, what pissed me off necessarily, we all know that the Nuggets was the better team. What would you want me to say? You want me to just go out there and be like, yo, the Nuggets is just gonna win? I'm not supposed to root for my team? Of course I'm gonna root for my team. And then of course, if we watch the game, every game was close. We were leading every game at halftime. Every game. So
Yeah.
To sit there and act like we couldn't hang with the Nuggets, like it never didn't stand a chance, and this was just some of the things that the rhetoric that's been thrown out, blow it up and all this stuff. It's like I'm not ready for to have that conversation. I'm ready to have the fire Darvin Ham conversation.
Oh, that ain't that. His key card still work?
It shouldn't. I'm ready to have that conversation because I feel that
I don't think that needs to be a conversation. I think that needs to be a statement.
because I know people get I'm biased. I'm a Laker fan and all that cool. I truly believe, and I said this in the beginning of the season, that we should have been a 6 seed. We should have avoided the play-in. The fact that you got to pretty much got a full season out of LeBron and AD.
A defensive player of the year caliber full season from AD at that.
At that all NBA type of season, second team, third team type of season from AD. Like for you to have to play in the play-in again, for you to have to backpedal into the play-in again.
Yeah.
Nah, I can't go for that. And for him to get to his exit interview and blame injuries, bro, you mean to tell me that Rui injury was the one that was caused the concern? Cam Reddish injury was the one that caused the concern? Losing Christian Wood, Vanderbilt, bro, I love Junkyard Dog. Junkyard Dog is a catalyst. He is a very vital piece to this team. But to tell me that you had your team is built, but it's built around AD and Bron.
You had AD, you had AD, you had Bron. More games than you've had Bron and AD in a long time. You had Reeves, you had D'Lo. Like
you had a great D'Lo season this year as well.
Right.
Regular season,
absolutely. So there's no excuse.
Don't sit here and give me that the injuries was the thing that held you back. No, you was the one that held you back. Like I'm not about to say,
and that's why he should be gone, because he lost that team. That team
clearly
he lost the team. So yeah, he got to go.
And it's like I said, some of the things, the excuses that you're trying to make, I get it. Like I said, injuries. Everybody had to deal with injuries. Like what team didn't deal with injuries? Like what team didn't deal with injuries? Like
the team we'll talk about next had to deal with injuries, and like you said, they ended up making the 6 seed,
and they ended up making the 6 seed. But what I'm saying is, your stars are
exactly.
Here. Like,
so to me, that's
that, bro.
Yeah, to me that you can't make that excuse when you have the stars.
And
like you talking about bench guys, like come on now, dog.
I see.
You should be able to, like, that's where the coaching comes in, because that's where you have to start maximizing your talent and getting the best out of the guys that you do have. You have your stars. That's the easy part. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like now, if you lose your stars, that's tough. But you got the easy part. Now it's time for you to coach, and that's where he got exposed. My fault.
It got exposed very well. I mean, too many times. And like I get it. Like you say, we went to the Western Conference Finals last year. Think about it, with that roster that came together after the trade deadline. The team that didn't play with Bron after the trade deadline, when he didn't show up to the last 2 games before the season, for the regular season ended. For y'all to get to the Western Conference Finals, y'all should have built on that. That's why I was so confident.
And not rest on your laurels.
That's why I was so confident that they should at least, at bare minimum, be a 6 seed with the improvement that they made in the offseason. I'm not sitting here. I get it. I wasn't sitting here acting like they should have won a championship and all that, but they done enough. They did enough to avoid the play-in. They did enough to make this series that could have been a series. It's no excuse for us to lose game 2, to blow that 20-point lead. It was no excuse to lose the last game. Every time that they started to come back, why are your hands in your pocket?
Do something. Clap at least, my boy.
Yeah. But it is what unfortunately, it is what it is. I'm not sitting here. I'm not here for the circus of LeBron this offseason. Hey, make a decision and let's go with it.
100%. Well, let's go ahead and get to the ugly. And that is the Phoenix Suns. And as you see right here, Kevin Durant hasn't advanced past the second round since leaving the Warriors in 2019. And yeah, like this is terrible. Like this just goes into kind of some of the things that I've constantly been saying, but like I really had no hope. I was surprised that we didn't end up in the play in because we were a flawed team. And like I said, like when you're a team that hasn't played together, when you're a team that constantly, has these stinker losses even in the regular season, you're a team that got swept by the San Antonio Spurs. There's problems there. And the thing about it is, like, we're talking about him and all the things that he's done. Every single issue that we've had from the beginning of the season to the All-Star break to the end of the season and in the playoffs was the same reason that we lost every single game in the playoffs. And to me, where were the adjustments? And the biggest thing is, I keep saying it, and I said it when we got Chris Paul, and then I'm going to say it even more when you have Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal. You got three great shooters.
Mm-hmm.
And all you do is settle for twos in the mid-range so often. Like, I understand, like, there is, something about the mid-range game, and it's a part of it, and it's an underutilized portion in today's game. But you have to understand at one point, you can't constantly trade threes with twos, and you don't defend the three line on the defensive end. You're going to lose every single time. And then the fact that, again, you have Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal, and you're not even attempting threes. That's a huge issue. Like I was looking at something today. I'm about to read you something, and just bear with me here. So I'm gonna read you in the playoffs the amount of names that you get before you get to one of the Sun stars in 3 points made in the playoffs. So, and this is going to be order from number 1 down. So you got Michael Porter Jr., James Harden, Miles Turner, Damian Lillard, Derek White, Kyrie Irving, Anthony Edwards, D'Angelo Russell, Paul George, Tyler Hero, Tyrese Maxey, Luka Doncic, Josh Hart, Lugens Dort, and down at 15 you have Bradley Beal. So Bradley Beal is 15th in the playoffs in 3 points made. And then to get even further down to the next star of the Suns in 3 points made is 40. Devin Booker is tied for 40th in the playoffs in 3 points made. And guess what? Kevin Durant is even further down the list. So to me, how we can't win like that. I'm sorry. Is Anthony Edwards a better 3-point shooter than any of the players that I've named? I don't believe. I love Anthony Edwards, but Anthony Edwards is not a better 3-point shooter than any of the players made. But guess what? He is number 7 on this list. He's tied for 7th in the playoffs for 3-pointers made. Your best play, your 2 best players aren't even top 40. Miles Turner got more 3 points made than KD and Devin Booker combined in the playoffs.
That's nasty.
And to me, if it's true, if Kevin Durant says, "Oh, I was uncomfortable in my role, I just felt like I was in the corner." No, you weren't. You were at the elbow,
bro.
You were in the mid range, and that's the problem. Devin Booker, you are a great shooter. Shoot threes. He will be at the 3-point line and have a good, clean view, and then drive it to the mid range into the traffic. Take these threes. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to say y'all got to beat the Warriors, but you need to shoot these threes because y'all, when it comes to the average, if you actually look at their 3-point percentage, they're in the top. That's when they get to the tops of the league. They just don't attempt them, and that's the problem. Shoot them.
So I want to ask you. So what you want to do?
I mean, what I want to do or what can we do? Those are two different things because it ain't.
I want both answers.
Okay, so what I want to do, I want us to get in an offensive scheme where they actually start, allowing for 3-point shots. Like, I don't even know if we can get a point guard. I don't know if we can get a point guard. And so if we can get a point guard and we can take Devin Booker off the ball, please, great. That is perfectly fine. But we need to have some sort of offensive scheme where it's just like, hey, we're not dribble, handoff, driving to the elbow and taking, mid-range jump shots. Have slashers, have guys get to the cup. I'm like, Grayson Allen had an amazing season. Allow him to sit in the corner. Guess what? Swing the ball and allow him to get open. So when you're running when guys are running to close out, don't drive necessarily all the time. Swing the ball. Try and drive to someone else to get their man to jump up and then swing it to an open shooter. There's no if you have Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and what Grayson Allen was doing as a 3-point shooter, you should be there should be plenty of room to operate outside the arc and inside the paint for you to have a wide open offense. We don't have to take these congested elbow jumpers and stuff like that. And to me, that's my thing. It's like we taking these hard shots. Nobody's taking easy shots, and that's my issue. And so what I think is going to happen, I think Frank Vogel might be in trouble too, to be quiet as kept, because to kind of see how Bradley Beal kind of shoved him off at the end of that game, I don't know. It may be a little bit quieter, but he may have lost the locker room too. But I don't know, because most of everybody, they got to run this back. They got to run it back, unless Devin Booker or KD want to get traded. But what we gonna get back for that?
I mean, why do you want to run this back? Because this only reason why
I don't want to run it back. We really don't have no choice.
Why is it not a choice? What do you mean?
I mean, unless we trade in Devin Booker and
I don't want you to say that again.
Okay.
In my mind, Devin Booker is untouchable until
right.
But
then if Devin Booker is untouchable, we trade KD.
Mm-hmm.
With the health of Bradley Beal, what does that really make us? You get what I'm saying?
First and foremost, the first one is on the block. If it was me, it was Bradley Beal got to go.
He got no trade clause.
He has a no trade clause, but hey, we're gonna have to execute that, brother. Like, we gotta talk. Like, you're not happy here. Obviously, you're not happy here. We're not getting rid of Vogel. So obviously, you're not happy here. We need you to go. You and your agent. We need you to facilitate a trade. We need you to go figure out something. Because when it's stuff like that, when you're not happy here, your no trade clause is different. Like, we can go figure something else out. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I get it. You may not be able to go where you want to go for sure, but you might be getting up out of here. Like, we may have to do something crazy, like you got to go to Chicago for Zach LaVine or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Something at that point. But he got to go. And the only reason he got to go, I'm not saying he's trash. This didn't work.
It didn't
and
work.
The reason why
certain games having 9 points, dog. I'm like,
bro, getting swept. Like, I get it. I'm not saying that y'all had to win.
I knew we was gonna lose. The Timberwolves was the second seed. I'm like third seed.
Y'all beat them in the regular season all year. You talked about you losing to the Spurs. Y'all beat the Timberwolves all.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do this, but this is one of my biggest points and my biggest frustrations about Vogel in this playoff series. Throughout his entire career in the playoffs, every single coach has been able to figure out a way how to play Rudy Gobert off of the court. Vogel, you are unable to find a way to get Rudy Gobert off the court?
It was so funny to me because it was like, yo, he's still on the court. Like, you can't figure it out. And they're like, yo, the Suns are going to go small. What you mean they're going to go small? They're small.
Exactly. And it's another thing. We don't like, I love what Yusuf Nurkic brought. But the simple fact that we did not have another playable center at all. So it's like, yeah, you going small, but you're not threatening them to do it. Like, you're going small for what? Like, you're not going small and pulling them out to the 3-point line. That's the perk of going small. You just going small to go small.
Yeah. And that's never a plus. Like I
That's
said,
not a plus. Like, yes, you go small, play Rudy Gobert off the court. Don't go small and then drive right through his chest.
I feel that like you say, I can see if y'all went to the Western Conference Final. I can see if y'all even went to the second round. It was a hard fought round. You'd be like, you know what? Run this back. We're gonna, we're gonna make some minor tweaks here and there. But to get swept, ain't no
It's
running this back.
unacceptable. It's
Yeah, ain't no
unacceptable.
running. It ain't no running. It ain't no running this back. I'm blowing this completely up, like you said. KD,
Yeah,
you
I'm
can go
not.
wherever. And I'm not even trying to have a conversation with KD. You're going wherever I send you. So whatever makes the Suns better, whatever trade that I can get, you are gone, bro. Like I want this one.
Yeah,
That's it. And it goes back and it goes back to my team. I'm sorry, you didn't ask me this, but bro, have a plan.
Yeah.
Look, we not playing this dance with Bron. Bro, are you coming back or not?
Yeah.
And if you are, cool, we're gonna build off that. Hey, D'Angelo Russell, are you opting in or are you not? Hey,
right.
if you are, cool. If you're not, cool. Let's have a plan. Hey, and if that's the case, if Bron leaving, hey, AD, what do you want to do? Do you want to stay? Or if you want to go, you can go as well. Have a plan. I'm married to the plan. You know what
And
I'm
that
saying?
was and that's when it comes to the plan of, like, remember I said I understand you had to make that KD trade, but I don't feel like we had to make it in that moment, because when we made that trade, it gave Brooklyn so much of, I won't say the upper hand, but it gave them a lot of leverage, and that's how they was able to get Mikal and Cam Johnson from us. If we would have waited and allowed Kevin Durant to kind of keep pushing that trade, I think they would have kind of been able to facilitate a trade and we not give both. This team would look a lot different if we just had one of them. I just feel like.
Funny thing about it, saying like you can call them and get them back, cause it ain't work on me either side.
Yeah,
so
hey, like, just be like, hey, my bad, dog. Let's run this back.
At least you can send KD somewhere else. We can do a 3-team, but you know what I'm saying. Send Mikal back. You know what I'm saying.
Give us him back, and then we can find the point guard. Remember all them years it was like, hey, dog, go get Dennis Schroeder. We were saying that.
Mm-hmm.
It would just worked out perfect.
Look at the level that we asked for Dennis Schroeder, bro. Like, come on, not we, but I'm just saying we had the conversation, and it gets to the point. Like I say, I'm not here for the theatrics of, are we gonna draft Bronny to keep Bron? Hey, listen, if that's the plan,
cool, make it. Plan. But bro,
I just seen this Spencer Dinwiddie. What? Bro, I can watch Bronny. If I just see what Spencer Dinwiddie do nothing since he came to the Lakers. Nah, bro, Gabe Vincent ain't, man. That's another thing about him. Gabe Vincent ain't play all year. Why he in the playoff rotation? Why is Max Christie on the bench? And Jamal Murray just cooking. Max Christie, the whole thing is defense. That's my thank you. So he just on the bench just doing nothing? Yeah. And you just letting them cook. Like KCP cook. But you got Gabe Vincent out there giving you nothing.
Yeah, this was one of those frustrating things for both of us, and I feel like we both kind of just was watching in disbelief. Like, no, what are we supposed to do? What hope do we have from this?
It's totally different, though, bro. You watching the game, and I don't mean no disrespect. We ain't been trolling each other. You know what I'm saying?
I was disgusted.
Bro, you watching the game, y'all ain't have a chance.
Yeah, I was disgusted.
The last game, y'all fought. Like
you're right. We watched with different lenses because y'all was up, but yeah, you're right.
My team was fighting.
I take that back.
Now I get it. They probably never stood a chance because the Nuggets are a better team. I get it, but I kept getting false hope because my team is leading every half.
Yeah.
Like I said, Booker went out like a G last game, dropped 40.
Almost 49, almost had 50.
You know what I'm saying? They showed
here's the thing. He had almost 50. KD had 30. Didn't nobody else had nothing. And it's just like, hey, Bradley Beal, what are you doing, my boy?
And that's the thing. Like I said, we had great Bron, we had great AD, we had a great D-Law. I mean, not D-Law, D-Lo game 2. And AR showed up a few times. Like you said, we kept getting everybody else the next time. But the problem was You kept getting triple-double Jokic. You kept getting everything out of Jamal Murray, and then you getting 20, 25 out of Aaron Gordon one game, almost 30 out of Michael Porter. It's like,
and then you got Ham, and then Ham is just sitting over there like, oh no,
you know, it's going to get interesting. Like it's funny that we got our teams out the way early, right? Because who knows what's going on with the Sixers? The Sixers is on right now. The game is tied as we speak. But hey, it may get interesting in Philly. Hey, who knows what's gonna go on with the Mavs in the Clippers series? Hey, the Pelicans need to be having a discussion about moving somebody. I'm almost done, baby.
Yeah, and so Ross,
Okay.
I just want to say, yes, we still are a pod of the people, Ross, but this was a vent session. Y'all ain't done yet. This was a vent session, so we had to get some shit off the chest. But you know, we got plenty of space because we ain't got no Suns or Lakers to talk about next week. So we gonna get to a lot. We're gonna get to a lot of business, and we're gonna have some other stuff possibly wrapped up by next week. So
it's gonna be a interesting NBA offseason. The NBA offseason is getting everything that they asked for. They got all the storylines and all the make-believe stuff that they always try to fabricate, but they got it already. They ain't got to reach for it now.
Yeah, definitely.
You know definitely. They already got it. So man, look, I'm glad y'all still let us get our vent session off. You know, sorry about my girls. But hey, I'm about to feed them. Yeah, I'm about to feed you, baby.
Don't feed them after dark like they gremlins.
You did what?
I want ice cream.
Okay. Oh yeah, you see that? You gotta do like that, Cody.
Give me the peace sign, Cody.
Give me the peace sign. Did it work? How does it work?
Y'all ain't lit.
We ain't lit. But look, come on, y'all. Y'all gonna sign us off.
Let's sign off.
All right, let me tell you what to say. Listen. Y'all catch us on all major podcast platforms. 3Man Weave, Instagram, Twitter, 3Man Weave _. You can email us at podcast.3man.weave@gmail.com. You say shout out to the fours.
Shout out to the fours.
Throw your fours up, Dallas.
The four.
That's the two. We just taught it too. Look, you throw your fours up.